All right, welcome to Nasdaq Advisory Live, powered by Nasdaq IR Insight. I'm your host, Will Briganti, and joining me today is Mike Kratky. Mike is an analyst with Nasdaq Advisory Services covering pharmaceutical and biotechnology stocks. Mike, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me back, Will.
All right, so biotech appears to be back in favor. There's been some positive momentum on both the sort of the corporate angle with some recent M&A as well as some drug approvals. And then on the other side, the Nasdaq Biotechnology Index is up approximately 26% year to date. Mm-hmm. What are some of the factors that will keep this momentum going?
Right. So the big news that was announced since I last came on is that sector bellwether Gilead agreed to acquire Kite Pharma for nearly $12 billion in cash. So this was really the type of deal that a lot of investors were hoping for from Gilead, and certainly puts M&A back into the spotlight. So since the deal was announced on August 28th, the Nasdaq Biotechnology Index is up about 5.5%. So I think that this is certainly something that could help drive outperformance in biotech. I think that, as I mentioned a few weeks ago, we really seem to have been in a wait-and-see environment.
That's right.
So since then, this deal obviously struck certainly a different tone, in that the street is now speculating about what could be the next major pharma or biotech company to do this type of deal. So I think that if we were to see this continue, this could certainly be something that would sustain the biotech rally in 2017. Okay. So aside from that, we got some exciting news in the space as the FDA announced the approval of Novartis's gene therapy for leukemia. So this also certainly contributed to the rally in biotech recently. And I think there seems to be growing optimism around a new product cycle in which new therapies and drugs are coming to the market. So this could also help drive biotech outperformance in 2017.
All right. Now, Mike, do investors appear more comfortable with current drug pricing scenarios?
I think that's certainly safe to say. Yeah. So, in 2017 or 2016, drug pricing rhetoric was certainly a significant headwind for the space, especially because it was an election year. So since then, it seems to be kind of more on the back burner as investors are more focused on M&A and new drug approvals that have really helped the sector get to these 52-week highs.
Okay. And for some of our viewers, you may not know, but Mike and the rest of his team, they work with some of the largest listed pharmaceutical and biotechnology names that are out there. So Mike, my final question for you is, what are some of the notable investor themes that your team are seeing right now in the space?
Sure. So one thing we're seeing is there seems to be a clear change in biotech sentiment for the better. So especially in the last few weeks, there seems to be a lot more generalist money coming into the space. So despite some of your recent geopolitical concerns with North Korea, investors are getting a little bit more comfortable putting money to work in the biotech space, which is historically a more traditionally higher risk, high beta asset class. So I think that one thing that the Gilead Kite deal really did was kind of remind people about the opportunity in biotech investing where you can see these triple-digit returns in a relatively short amount of time. Right. So, for example, Kite right now is sitting at about up nearly 300% year to date. So I think just between some of the positive news flow in biotech over the past few weeks, between your notable M&A and a favorable regulatory environment, there's plenty of room for biotech investors to be optimistic about the outlook.
All right, Mike, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for that terrific insight.
Thanks again, Will.
All right, appreciate it. We'll look forward to having you back on soon. And thanks so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining Nasdaq Advisory Live. Again, we're powered by Nasdaq IR Insight, where you can get all the latest information on the capital markets. For further information, be sure to visit our website. That's at business.nasdaq.com, and you can always follow the team for more updates on Twitter at Nasdaq. Be sure to follow us. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you back here on Thursday. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Will.
All right.